October 2022, and I can't quite believe where all the time's gone, but this is my everything I knit in September video. It's going to be a bit odd because I don't actually have everything with me that I did knit in September. Some of it because it's been given away, and some of it because I'm still at Dad's house. So I didn't actually think I knit too much. And then, you know, when you sit down, you suddenly think, oh, I'll make one of those videos. You suddenly remember what you've done. So, right, I'll start with the fun things. This pair of socks. Okay, I didn't actually knit any of them in September, but I did finally finish them. All it really required was darning in the ends. So it was a bit of a joke, really, that they'd been sitting there for about 6 months with no ends darned in, and then I'd sewed the ends in, and they're great. I need to review them when I knit another pair, because it's darn good yarn, and it was supposed to be 2 identical socks. The problem is I don't know where the other one is right now. They're almost identical because it comes as 2 balls of identical yarn with the self-striping, which makes it very cool. Love the yarn, love the socks, love knitting everything about them. But there's a colour shift that's just not quite there. And I probably should have fixed that up at the start. And so when I do another pair, because I've got another pair in the exact same colourway, oh, that'd be boring, but useful. Yeah. I'll try and even it up so that they're identical, but we'll see how that goes. Then I made these socks, and these look large. They are large. They sort of have been worn a lot to bed, and they're very comfortable and very warm. This is Palliser Ridge yarn, and this is the black colour, which is more of a brown, but they're really good bed socks. They're just too big for me. They weren't made for me, but I've ended up with them, but they are the size of the world's largest sock that I made this time last year when I made my first pair of socks. But because it's double knit and they're not too long and there's nothing fancy going on with them, they really didn't take that long to knit. So that was just a couple of days, which was satisfying to make a big pair of socks in a couple of days. Then we've got these. Now I had both of these just a few days ago, and now I'm looking over at my dogs who are very poorly behaved, and I don't know where the other one are. So this is wool from the Woven, and it's the Merino Smooth. It's very nice yarn. I got it in a 3-pack last year, which was a gift pack, and there was a pink and this blue and then a pale blue, and it is, oh, you can't even see how soft and warm it is. But these are great as I was going through my mitten phase. So I'm calling them fingerless mittens, even though they're not fingerless mittens, but I've got access to touch things. I figured they'd be handy if I was out with a telescope at night, and I can then adjust the little things and then get warm fingers again. But I don't know where I've put the other one. And when I say I don't know where I've put the other one, I don't know where the puppy's taken it. She's not even really a puppy. She's about 7, but she thinks she's a puppy. So then there's these. Then there's the things I don't have with me, which is, I'll insert them here. The first thing this month that kind of got, this last month, that kind of got me knitting again was the tiny bat, because I just thought about bats and sat there and made one, and it was kind of enjoyable. And that was followed up by the tiny spider, which both those patterns have now been released. I'll put the links in the description below. So they're kind of cute rather than scary, because I don't do scary. And then the bloody mittens. That's another one that's available, because there's nothing quite like doing 2 pairs of mittens in a month and realising I only have 2 hands. How many mittens does one woman need? So I've got a pair of bloody mittens now as well, but I was very pleased with them. They came out really nicely, which is why I then moved on and made this pair. And the other thing that I finished this month was this. I don't know which side it's going on. Knight's coif head covering chainmail extravaganza because I've written a version of Robin Hood and we're performing it in 2 weeks' time now, so it's costuming time. So the night needed chainmail, and so that happened. So that was quite exciting. It was quite fun to do something that, for a hat, it uses quite a bit of yarn, but it really is a hat that comes down here, so 3 balls isn't so bad at the end of the day. And it knitted up relatively quickly, considering how much yarn is in it. And then I've got a couple of things that are on the go and still not completed. I'm tempted to give you the update of where my sock is up to. The other one, that is, the one that's been going for about a year now, and I've got no further with it. This pair of socks, which I bought the yarn in August, and it's really nice hand-dyed yarn. It's so unbelievably soft. And I'm up to this part of the second sock. So at some point that will be finished, and it won't take too long. I'm just not there yet because these aren't my favourite needles to knit socks with. Other than that, there are some things that I've got that are sort of on the go. There's that sock, and there's some projects that I'm working on. I'm working on a pair of almost matching jerseys. We'll see how that goes because it's a shifting yarn. So it's making the joining up of the different balls a little bit more of a challenge. I need to stop and figure out which balls are going to be sleeves and which ones are going to be backs and all that kind of stuff sooner rather than later, because you can't just pick up the next ball because of how the colour shifts go, and I don't want the colour shifts to be completely obvious in the final garment, particularly like right here in the front. But we'll see how that goes. I'm only really 1 ball through that at the moment, so it's not that exciting to see. And I have the Stephen West DK basket weave shawl pattern that was released. Somebody reposted it, I think it was on the Skeins website, and suggested a particular yarn to go with it. And I thought, oh, I've got some of that yarn. But what I don't have is enough of that yarn. So then I had to decide, was I going to buy more of that yarn, or was I going to just use yarn I had? So I was about to go and use, I don't have it on me, some grey yarn to knit it, but then changed my mind at the last minute while I was picking up extra fabric for more costumes. And I've got an acrylic yarn to try it with, which I don't really like acrylic yarn, but I don't know how often I'll wear a shawl scarf of this size. Might be all the time. So either way, nice colour. And then see just exactly how accurate it is, because the pattern says 900 feet, 800 metres or something. So that would be about 9 to 10 balls of yarn regularly, 50-gram balls, so that makes it basically the same as a jersey. So I'm more likely to wear a jersey than a scarf. So I wanted to just try it with something else, and we'll see how it goes, because I haven't used a Stephen West Knits pattern before, and one of my friends has one of his scarves and she wears it everywhere, so it has good reviews. Anyway, so I'll give that a go and see how we go there. Keep working on my jumper, keep working on Robin Hood. I don't think I'm going to get too much finished in October, or started in October, but I do want to finish those socks. I do want to knit another pair of big socks because I had an idea there, and I would like to do a pair of cabled socks, but we'll see if there's enough time for 3 pairs of socks, 2 jumpers and a shawl. There really isn't time for all that, but it's time to definitely work on some of them. So those are my current projects. There's definitely some projects that are in part and in progress that I need to get working on again, but they're just not inspiring me as much right now. But at least there are now more patterns being released on the website, which is nice. So yeah, this month there's been the bat, the spider, the bloody mittens, and might be the calcifer mittens today. Either way, there's 4 patterns out in September, so I'm pleased that that has happened again, and soon I have to start thinking about Christmas knitting projects and that sort of thing. Maybe it's not water bottle cover. I can't remember which one's releasing today, but one of them. Anyway, take care, keep knitting, and I'm quite happy to be knitting again, really, which is nice. See you later.